nothing for hands-on
Recording
practice, but yes, there would be topics which I would like any one of you to do it on your system so that other people can see, and with that the person who will be taking that initiative, he will he will learn more. All right. Any other suggestion, question, maybe the doubts from yesterday's session?
Yeah, a little bit more on the filter. I was playing around with that too after our training. So if you can go over it, actually on the last part of the filter that you were trying to do.
Sure. So on filters, I remember there were two things which were left on, even on the sorting. We were not able to cover everything. So in the beginning of today's session, I'll definitely try to recap those things, and maybe I'll cover what was left yesterday, and then we'll move forward for the new topics.
Okay.
All right. So having said that, first of all, let me share my screen here. And what I'm thinking of for today's session, that we'll do some kind of recap first of all. Then I'll talk more about filters, because yesterday whatever we covered, that was more on the dimension side of the filters. We didn't talk about the numerical fields, or I would say when we use measure as a filter, we didn't talk about that. Similarly, for sorting, we talked about the simple sort, which is directly available in the object, but we didn't go through in detail. After covering these three things, maybe two main topics, we'll go for groups, and then we'll cover hierarchy. And after hierarchy, we'll go for a break, and then we'll cover these two things in the second half of the session. So does it sound good to everybody?
Sounds good.
All right. So let me just open. Okay, so here is a sheet which we basically talked about yesterday. So before we start talking about the filter and sorting thing, Carolyn, I think you had some question. Was it related to any of these, or was it related to the data source or connecting to various, maybe the data source with our Tableau?
Now, mine was about, yes, it was about filtering.
Okay.
Do you want me to share my screen, or?
Yes, please. You can go ahead. Let me just.
Okay. How do I share my screen? Oh, share my desktop. Okay. All right. So the report that I'm trying to generate is a simple, like an accuracy score report. So in my sheet, I have three filters. Well, actually just two filters. I don't know how that one got there, but the first one is the segment ID. And then the second one would be an impact description. And what I want to do is I want to have when you run the report, I want the user to be able to select a segment ID, and then for each segment ID, there's certain impacts. So the impact description would be dependent on which segment ID you select. When I run it, so I put it in a dashboard, and I put a little header on there for it too, just so it looks a little pretty. And then when I run it though, there is no filter. How do I get the filter on the page?
All right. So yeah, if you can just go out of this presentable mode.
And then the sheet.
Now, if you just yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So first of all, what you can do is just go back to that dashboard. I'll just tell you where you can do that. So if you just select this sheet area, just put your mouse somewhere in the sheet area only.
Anywhere?
Now, no, in that table area. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Here only. Now you can see the two icons, that one is cross and another is little drop down. Yeah, correct. Just click on it.
Okay.
Now you will find some options. So just you have filters over there. And
okay.
you need to click on those three filters which you want to include here in the sheet. So that's one. Now we can format this according to our need. Then what was the impact description? There we go.
Right, right. And that's it. Just those two.
Okay.
So
now,
when so if I save this, when I run it, now can I pick a segment? Oh, okay. How do I, oh, okay, there it goes. So it's changing as I pick them, right?
Yeah. Now, so with those ones that crossed out, she crossed them out during the import, is what that is. So those will never be there, or what is that? Because those get crossed out. So those.
Yeah, I didn't want them included at all. I wanted them because those are not valid segment IDs, so I don't want them to pick them at all. So they're not part of the data source, then, are they? That's why they're crossed out like that. Right, and if I go back to the sheet, if I go back to the sheet, I go into the segment ID. How did I do that? I forget now how I did that. Double click on it. Oh, there we go. Double click on it, select from list, and I have. Now, see, this says exclude from all.
Okay, so you've done that at the very beginning. Okay.
Yeah, but see, I only had excluded those three. When I came back in here after changing the filters on the actual dashboard, it was excluding the ones that I had selected, so that's kind of weird.
So basically, right now, Karen, so what is happening here, the filter which you have applied, this is working for exclude only. So whatever values you will be selecting in the list, that value will get excluded from your table.
Okay, so then I should just use all, right? Because the segment IDs are going to change, so I want them to use all of them, but I do want, well, I guess, is there no way to do that? Is there no way to take out the segments that I don't want?
You can exclude them directly from your data source, because I believe you never want to show those segment IDs, right?
Right.
So for that, you can go to your data source.
Data source.
Up at the top.
I thought I went, yeah, here we go. So then I go here and where's my segment?
You can see you can see at right top corner, there is a filter.
So I can add a filter.
Add. Now you need to select the column for which you want that filter to be shown. I think segment ID, right?
Does it matter?
You can add multiple layers of filters.
Okay. So exclude 16, 17, and 18.
Correct.
And then okay.
Now if you go back to your sheet.
Okay. So now they're not in there?
Just click on it. If you just,
okay, cool. All right.
So that's not there.
No. But the segment ID, what I want to have, I want the user to select a segment ID, and for each segment ID, they have different impact descriptions. So not all the impacts are in each segment. So I was hoping that I could have this be like a dependent filter, like the impact description would be dependent upon what segments that you select. Is there a way to do that?
Exactly. So now I would say that just go to this dashboard, the dashboard tab, and the filter which you see for impact description, select that, right? And the same little drop down, the black one, not this one.
Okay, the black one. All right.
Right. In this list, you can see if you go to the last selected option, which says include values.
Include values. right?
Go a little up also. The only relevant values, you need to select that.
Oh, okay. Only relevant values. Okay,
right.
cool.
Now if you select your segment IDs.
Awesome. Okay, this is so neat. All right. So, but okay. So then here's one final question, and then I'll let you. I'll give the ball back to you. One other thing that I'm trying to do is I have total opportunities, total defects.
We don't know what.
Total overturned and final defects. Now the final defects are the defects minus the overturns. So what I want is I want a score. I want the total opportunities minus the final defects divided by the total opportunities. So I created a score, a calculated field called accuracy score. And when I put that in there, it doesn't do what I expect it to do because it's adding them all together. And instead what I want it to do is I wanted to create this at a original auditee supervisor level. So this should be a percentage, and it's adding them all together. It's like doing them individually and adding them all together is what I'm thinking it's doing.
So that is what actually Tableau does. Whenever you apply any calculation, Tableau does it on each row level.
So there's no way to get one?
No, there is a way to do that.
Okay. Right.
In order to do that, if you go back to the calculated field.
And edit it.
Edit it. Yes. And in here, you can increase the size of windows so that it will, all right.
Okay.
Now I would like to know whether do we want the total opportunities? I think we can put an aggregation here because this is measure.
Oh.
We can apply sum.
The sum of? Like that?
Sum of total opportunities, right? Similarly, again we will have to use sum.
Lots of red. That don't look good.
No, that don't look good. What did I do?
It shows that calculation. If you just go back once again, I want to see whether the formula, what we have written there is correct.
Calculation is valid.
Okay, now just click OK and just remove this sum accuracy, what you can see in the measure value card. Just remove it once and drag it back. Now it will take aggregation.
Okay, so now I need to change the format so that it's a percentage.
There we go.
Oh, cool. Okay.
You're hired.
And then another thing I was trying to do is I was trying to put the supervisor or the auditees underneath the supervisor, like put it in rows. And what I was getting was when I tried to do that, let's see, let me go back to where that is. Okay, so the original auditee ID, if I put that in there, it gives me a message telling me that there's 7,000 members and the recommended maximum is 1,000. So is it okay to do that, or is that going to cause a problem with it calculating compiling the report?
There would not be any problem except the view will be, I would say quite big. For users, it will not be easy to see everything. That is the only warning it is giving.
Okay, so you can do it. It's just, it'll be a very long report. But what I'm hoping is that, you know what I could do? I could put a filter on the page for the auditee supervisor and then just have the auditee here. Okay.
I believe these supervisors are part of the segment IDs, right?
The supervisors are part of the audit. It's an audit attribute. So you have here's the audit information, the audit attribute, which gives me the auditee and the auditee supervisor. Then you have your impact score, and then I have two users. I have the auditee and the auditee supervisor. I'm still working on trying to concatenate their name together, but I think I can do that with a calculated field.
Correct.
and then your impacts.
Right. So, I mean, whenever we get the same warning, right, so we try to find the relation between two dimensions. And if it is possible, we apply hierarchies over there. So
Yeah, that's what I was
by
thinking
default,
too.
so I'll be talking about hierarchies today in today's session.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, great.
The ball back.
So another question, I think Aminu asked that there was some confusion related to filters. Right, Aminu?
Yeah, yeah.
So could you please talk about that?
Remember yesterday when you were showing us the last portion, we weren't getting the expected filter result. So if you want to go over that.
Okay. Let me share my workbook, what I shared in the last portion of the session yesterday. Maybe we can recall. So in the last session, we were trying to show the sorting, and before that, in case of filters, I was showing these options. Or are you talking about this one, that where we can apply these filters?
Let me think about it. I forgot the exact, and then maybe we can come back to this. I think I have a note somewhere.
All right.
Yeah, let me go over my notes, and then if I give my notes, we can come back to it.
Yep, that's fine. That sounds good to me.
Oh.
All right. So we'll just, I'll ask again. I mean, I saw that Caroline has done a good job there, trying to replicate those joins, connections, and she's working with the filter. So that's I feel very good there. I hope everybody has done such practice. Now, we'll talk about the filters. So as I mentioned that we went ahead and did some analysis or, of this filtering functionality using our dimensions. But whenever we use, let's say, date as a filter, we get some other options or different options. I'll just show, let's say, if I click on show filter, by default it is given me years here. But sometimes it isn't required that I don't want to see the years. What I can do is I can change my format. You can see that as soon as you will drag your date in the filters card, by default it gives me years. I can change that year to any other values like quarter, month, day, or you have furthermore custom fields also like month and years. So as soon as I will do that month and year, I'll get like January 2012 and similarly each month of different years. It's easy. I mean, we can drag and drop and play with it. But the by default, as soon as you drag a field, you get this option. That's the first pop-up you get. It says relative dates, then range of dates, and these are year, quarter, month. So this is the same thing which it was showing earlier. Now, if I select, let's say, relative date, and click next, it's going to show me another pop-up, and it shows relative dates, and it shows years, maybe today or maybe yesterday. Sorry, right now days tab is selected, that is why it is showing. But if I select year, it's going to show me previous year, this year, or next year. These are the different values it will show. Similarly, let's say for quarter, it's going to show me current, this, present, or next quarter. You can select other values also. It is self-explanatory for months, weeks, and days. Similarly, it will show a range of dates. You can play with these. If I select just years and say apply, I'll say show filter, it's gonna show something like this. It shows previous years, and there is no data in the table. Maybe possible that I don't have any data for previous year means 2016, because it takes the current date in consideration. If I say, let's say last 3, you can see there is a data now. Maybe this year, no data. Next year, obviously, there will not be any data. But for previous year and last 3 years, or maybe I can increase it to whatever is required. So that is the relative filter or the relative dates filter. You automatically see quarters, months, and weeks.
Could we add that same year over to the just a second, to the rows so that we could see it relatively that we really don't have last year, so that way we visually have something to compare with?
So I had this dragged here in the field.
Okay.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah, right now it is last 9 years. It is showing me 2012, 13, 14, and 15. Let's say if I select this year, I don't have any data, or maybe without any filter, you can see that we have data for only 4 years, okay, starting from 2015. So I can go ahead and do it again. So this is the relative, it's a date filter basically. Now you might have a question that I want to see a filter wherein I can select start date and end date, and I want to see the data between those 2 dates. Maybe I want to see the calendar view, normally what we see in our reports, that there is a calendar, I can select any date from start date and a date from end date, and I want to see the data accordingly. So for that, we will have to use parameters, and with help of parameters, we'll be doing it. Related to filters, we never get a calendar format. We can get the list here, or if let's say, I'll remove this, maybe, remove filter, and I'll add another filter, and I would say just dates, nothing else. So maybe individual dates. I'll click next, use all, apply. Now you can see that I have got a pill of order date. I'll just click on show filter. It's gonna show me all individual dates which were there in my data. It will not show me the calendar. If you want to see the calendar, then parameter is the option, not the filter. So we'll be talking about the parameters today. Rest options will remain same for dates. If I go to any particular, let's say, measure, let's say if I add profit in my filters, right, I've got this pop-up. Now you would see the values are different. Here I'm getting all the aggregate options. It is, all values are, means it will show me all those individual values which are there in my data. Some is going to, it is going to sum your data depending on the dimensions what I have used. So let's just do one thing, sum, and it's giving me the range. It is starting from the very minimum value to the maximum value, maybe which is there in a particular row, right? So I can click on apply. At least we'll talk about the minimum value only. It will, show all the values which are either equal to the minimum value or greater than this. I can define my own value here. So that depends on the requirement that I want to show only those values which are either 0 or greater than 0. At most works opposite, means I want to show all the values which are either equal to this or less than this. I don't want to show anything greater than this. Especially it's going to work, you need to just define here either you want to see all the null values or non-null values. By default, it is selected all values. So it depends on whichever value you want to go ahead with. So I'll cancel it and I'll add it again so that I can, sorry, all right, it's order date. I need to take sales or profit, same value. I'll take sum, next. I'll leave it as it is, apply, and show filter. So you can see that by default it has shown me a slider here, and based on that, what it is doing, depending on these dimensions, wherever my sum would be between 3 and this value. Okay, this is the maximum one. Let me just add total also. This is the additional field I am talking about, apart from filters. So if you go to analysis, let's say if you need to add totals in your table, so you can follow this route. You can go to analysis, total, and if you want to add row grand totals, you can select this one. If you want to add your column totals, you can go ahead and do that. So I've just added column totals, and you can see I've got the value. Now, you can increase this or decrease depending on your requirements. Normally, I mean, in our real-time scenario, there are very less cases wherein we go by, putting a measure value in filters. Most of the time, we apply filters using dimensions only. However, yes, sometimes, depending on the requirement, we can follow this route. So I would not say that it never happens, but yes, it depends totally. There is one more field, these geographical fields. So they work same as dimensions, I would say. So here you will find the numerical value. These are nothing but you can say the coordinates. But if I drag this, let's say city, it's a geographical field, but it has a name and Tableau has recognized it. That is why it is showing me the geographical icon over there. I just drag the city on the filter card and it is showing me all the values related to the cities. So it will work same as the dimension filters as we have been using. Now, you might ask another question, I think that is not related to filters, but still, why city and country automatically got converted into this geographical icon? Any thought, any guesses?
So you can create a map of a report with a map?
Yep, that is, I think it is what doing. But let's say right now the map which we have been using here, that is default US map. Let's say if I talk about any such country which is not, I would say, so popular, or maybe the geographical codes of that country are not available in the Tableau environment, and if whether I give the name of city and country there, Tableau will not recognize them.
Does postal code play a part in it?
Yes. So the geographical coordinates play, very important role.
Okay.
And yeah, so you can define your own, I would not say your own geographical coordinates, but let's say there is a country whose map is not loaded in Tableau, and if you have the geographical coordinates of that country, you can import those geocoding by using this map option and geocoding. And that is the reason, like if I use the data of any other country, maybe if I talk about India, now it doesn't happen, but when the Tableau was very new to us, when we at that time, if we use the data of India with Tableau, it was not recognizing that. It happened, I mean, I'm talking about around 2011 when I started using Tableau. So, but now I mean, as soon as I'll put the data here in Tableau, it automatically recognizes that. And that is the reason, as soon as you select these fields and go to this show me icon, it enables or shows or highlights your map by default. I've just clicked on it and it's gonna show me. I can go ahead. Okay, it's a country which I selected at that time. Okay, country, obviously it will have only one country, that is US. If I select maybe cities, add all members. Okay. So it shows right now the filter which we applied yesterday, it has only central region selected. And in the central region, these are the cities which are there in the map. So, all right, let me go back to filters once again. Okay, or is there any other question on the filter side? I think the numerical thing was left yesterday, we have already covered. And we already talked about how we can use a single filter between multiple sheets.
I remember my question. It was on the top category of when we do the filtering, like the general wildcard condition, and my question was on the top. So if you can go over that.
Okay, let me do one sheet here. I'll do the same thing. Maybe category, I'll drag subcategories, I'll drag my profit. Let me just remove this filter from here. Okay, there is no filter applied on this sheet now. I have everything. So I believe yesterday when we were applying that top, even I was a little confused. So, okay, we'll do the same thing, and correct me if I'm, talking about something else which you don't need. Let me go to apply filters on region. This is what we did yesterday. And we were talking about this top thing here.
Yes.
Is it what you are referring to?
Yeah, yeah.
So we were showing, let's say, we did top 2, and the field which I'm selecting here is the profit right now. If you want, you can change it to anything else, maybe sales. So let's say if I select sales and I want only top 2 regions by sales, and if I say apply, okay. So the problem was that we cannot identify until unless region is not added here in this field. So we need to add that also, so that we will be able to understand that yes, it is filtering or not. So I can go ahead and show filter here. Though I have selected everything, all the values are selected, but it is showing me only top 2 regions by sales.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So I think we are good now with the filters. We can move ahead with the sorting option. So okay. Yesterday when we were talking about the sorting, we basically thought of these the icons which we see on every pill for sorting. Let me add maybe on the same tab, let me add a map. Sorry, not map, the bar chart. But what I did, I had a table here. Tableau gives you the functionality, just click on show me icon, it automatically converts that in the required format what you want to see. So these things are available, but it comes when we are talking about sorting, let's say. So let's say right now there is a profit which is plotted here for categories and subcategories. Now if you want to see the sorting here between these two, I can just click on this icon, the same icon which I used to get on the table, like this. I can click here and you will see that there is some type of sorting it has done. Now in order to see, or maybe for end users, that how does this sorting happen, I can go to this label and click on the show mark labels. It's going to show me the numbers for each bar. Now I know that in furnitures category, it has sorted them in descending order. So it is my 2078 figure is here, and the last in the furniture category, it is minus negative 1058. Similarly, for each category, it has sorted my data. Sometime it happens, let's say right now it is a profit which I'm sorting here, but I don't want to see the sorting by profit. Though I have plotted profit here, but I want to see the sorting based on my sales number. Right? I would show profit here in the table, but I want to see the sorting based on sales, not by profit. How can we achieve that? For that, I will have to go to maybe some subcategory, or maybe you can click on, okay, not here. So you just need to click on this subcategory option, go to sorting option, which it shows here. You'll get this option, the window, another window. So it talks about different options. Number one is like whether you want your data to be shown ascending or descending. So right now, as descending is selected, you can see your table, it is showing the descending order. You can change it to ascending, just click ascending and apply. Data will change. Another panel here is, pane basically, it talks about sort by data source order. So data source order will be nothing but whatever order is there in your actual data source, or maybe your data extract. So it will show the data by your data source order. Let's say if you want to show your data by alphabetical way, you can do that. It will again show alphabetical ascending order or maybe alphabetical descending order, right? So those both panes, sort order and sort by, they work in, I would say, collaboration. They work together. The third option is field. So this is where I was talking about. Let's say I'm showing profit here, but I don't want to show the order by profit. I want to show the order by sales, or maybe the quantity of the product where I have sold maximum product, but there is less profit. So it could be one of the situations. So I would say quantity and I will show count. I'll say apply, and now you can see that order is different. Let me just check once again, was it descending or ascending? Okay, this is descending order by quantity in counts. So now I know that if I talk about these two subcategories, one is tables and another is bookcases. So though I have sold more quantities in table category and in bookcases I have less quantity, still the profit in bookcases is more than the tables. So this is one of the scenarios wherein we can apply such analytics. Let's say with this view, I want to see which region the maximum, maybe the profit belongs to. So what I can do is, there are a couple of ways to do that. Either add your region into, let's say, in column pane. So it will just show 4 graphs for each region, or you can drag the region into the color area. And as soon as you will do that, now you can see the same bars have been defragmented into different regions. Now I know that under furniture category, in chairs subcategory, what is the profit in different regions. You may ask that though I'm sorting by quantity, but I can't see that in number.
How did you get the number to show up in there?
Are you talking about these numbers, the profit numbers?
Yes.
So earlier I plotted only profit here. What I did, I just went to this label and clicked on show now. But let's say, I'm going back to my question. Right now on the tooltip also, I know that this is furniture category, East region, subcategory is share, my profit is these many dollars. But what about quantity? I have sorted my data by quantity, but there is no quantity in it. I can't see the quantity. So multiple ways are there. Either you want to show the quantity with this number, the profit only, or you can add your quantity into the tooltip. So whichever suits the requirement, I can go ahead. Either I'll add that here in labels. Okay. Now I don't see my profit. I can see only quantity. So I'll have to do that again. Now you can see my profit and quantity both are there. But the problem is I have very less space here. And because of that, most of the bars or regions, they don't show that value. So for that, either I would recommend for a bigger space, or I can go ahead and work on the label formatting. I can make size maybe smaller. Now I can see more, but again, it's not adding that value. So I would prefer to show all these values on tooltip. I'll just change this T icon to this tooltip thing. I don't see anything on my chart here, but if I put our mouse on any of the regions or any of the bar, you can see all the values: profit, quantity, subcategory, region, and your category. Any question for this view or how these things work? Are we good with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's talk about how to publish this work on the internet, so our customer can see that. Talk about them fetching or later.
Could you please repeat? I didn't get you properly.
I said, are you going to talk about how to publish this Tableau work into the internet?
Yeah, I think it's on the list tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow?
Okay. Are you asking about how to publish this so that end user can see this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll show that tomorrow in the last session.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So yeah, this is the sorting thing. Let's say if you want to clear the sorting anytime, you can just click on the option that clear sort, and it will automatically remove all the sorting which you have done. It will show the default data. So that is on the sorting thing. Okay. Just few more things. On this mark, whenever we drag any field here, either into in the chart, you will see that by default it is taken bars as automatic. If you want to change it to line, you can do that. But again, it depends on what type of data you are using, and accordingly you will have to show it. So if I just change it to line, right now I don't think it is making much sense, right? Because it's showing data, in the it's not the random format, but yes, we need to just understand that how it has converted all those bars into these different lines. So for each region, it is showing one line, and so let's say if I talk about a particular line, let's say this one, I've highlighted it. So it is showing me three things. One line, and there is one more dot here. It's for tables, and this is for furnishings and chairs. And the color of this bar line shows that this belongs to South region. Most of the time we get a question from, maybe users or end users that let's say this is the chart, I want to see what number is being used here. What number is the chart representing to? I mean, they want to export the raw data. So that is doable on the server side also. And if you want to do that here, you can just right click and see view data. Alright. So it shows me all the raw data which is used for the particular selected field, the field which I have selected.
Sorry.
No worries. All right. So this is, I would say maximum I have covered on the sorting thing, but there is one more thing on the sorting, like there are chances, the way we did it here basically, I went to the sort option and I selected profit. But let's say my user wants that I should have an option, and if I select sales, the data should be sorted by sales. If I select profit, my data should be sorted by profit. And if I select, let's say, discount or any other value in the list, data should be sorted by that. So this is one of the functionality sometimes people want or end users are looking for. So we implement that with the help of parameters. I'm not covering that right now. Maybe in the second half when I'll be covering parameters and calculated fields. With that, I'll be covering this also. That how we can apply maybe sorting based on the selected value in the same view. All right, so that is it. Let me go to another tab. The next thing which I'm going to talk about is the group. So in Tableau, whenever you click, either go to this drop down, the small drop down icon, or you click on any of the fields, whether it is in dimension area or the measure area, you get all these options here. So you have add to sheet. If you click it, it is automatically added to the sheet, which I don't want right now. I'll remove it. Then you may want to duplicate. Duplicate is nothing, just creating a copy of the same field. You can, by clicking on duplicate, you can just create the same, I would say the replica of this column ID, customer ID. The next thing would be rename it. Sometimes we need to rename columns. We can hide it, create alias, or this is the most important option, I would say, create, because we'll be using it a lot. And here is, we'll be covering parameters, calculated field, but let me just talk about group for a while. So group is nothing but, combining few things into one. What I mean is, let's say I have subcategory here, and let me plot something, maybe sales, the table. I can directly convert it into, okay, not that. This is also not good. I'll utilize show me option and convert this into bars. Any orders will work for me right now. Now I can see last four things: art, envelopes, labels, and fasteners. They have very small values, and because of that, if I analyze them with the other available fields in the data, I'm not sure they are contributing much. Maybe I can include supplies also in that list, right? Because they have very less number against if I go for paper, bookcases, or other subcategories. So I don't need to concentrate much on these individually. What I can do is I can combine them into one And maybe I can say that, yeah, this is the commodity or the area wherein I can, go ahead and do some analysis. Okay, I'll not select the data values. I need to select these 4 subcategories like this. Right click anytime, and then you have this clip icon over there. You can just click on it and club them into one. Right? So what I have done, I have just clubbed those 5 things into one group. And now, because they were, adding very small number against the profit or maybe the sales, whatever I'm using here, with the comparison of other subcategories, now I can, see that yes, though it is minimum right now, but yes, the gap between paper and this category is less. I can compare these two. So that is how we can, create a group and we can, do the analysis. Now, let's say, as soon as I have created this group here, now you would see in your dimension area that a subcategory group field has been added. Earlier it was not there. It has the same clip icon and it has group in parentheses in between. So this group has been added into my dimension list. If you want to see the details, you can just go ahead and right click on it, maybe edit group. You will see the details of all other fields and the fields in your group. So these are the list for this group. You can rename it. If you want to add anything here, you can add also. Or if you want to remove anything out of this, you can remove that. Let's say I have selected a value inside of this group, it stays ungrouped. Or if I select any value which is not in the group, it will say group. So there are several options which you can add, or maybe let's say if you want to add or combine 2 groups, you can do that. So it helps in minimizing our focus areas, and by doing so, now we can focus on rest of the things except my last category, which is nothing but my group which I have created. Rest of the things, the way we drag the region, or maybe let's see if I drag category on color, it's gonna work similarly. Now I know that these blue areas are nothing but my furnitures. You can just directly go to this legend here and select a particular value. Only those fields will be highlighted.
Could you show that grouping one more time, exactly what you clicked on to get it? Because I keep on getting the reverse group. It keeps those same, it turns everything else gray. I mean, could you just click on that one more time, how you created that group? You selected art, envelopes, label.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you just do that one more time.
Sure. So I can see here that I have 2 values which are around 7,000. What I would do, I'll just club them into one. So I have selected bookcase. I think I didn't tell that we need to maybe use control, and then only I can select these 2 fields together.
Okay. So you select those 2. Okay.
Yeah. I have selected 3 now using control and your mouse right click. And then you just, as soon as you will put your mouse on this selection, you will get this icon, click one.
Okay.
You can click here also, or you just right click on it and then you can get this group icon. There are multiple ways through which you can create, and then you can change the name also. I can say new group. So are we good with this? Any questions on group? Okay, let's try a few more things with the new group which we have created. Now what I'm going to do is, I'll just drag this subcategory on my color card here. Let's see what happens. Subcategories. Okay, so it's doing the same thing. I mean, there is no difference right now. If I just remove it and drag my subcategory, you can see it's same thing. The only difference you would find that when I drag this subcategory group on the color, there was the same color for this new group. And now when I have when I have dragged subcategory, it has created multiple layers because this new group has various subcategories clubbed into one. Yeah, so that's the only difference between these two. And I did show when I opened this edit group option, you would see all the values here, including this group also. So it has all the values. It is just some of the values have been clubbed into one. Now I'm going to talk about a very similar thing with the group, but I would say very different. I mean, when we work on it, it looks similar, but it's very different. We call it set. So let me just drag few more things here. Now let me say profit. Let me just take a date first of all. Date. Here we go. Order date in my columns. Maybe I can see. Okay, I will change this into year and month. All right. And I want to plot maybe sales. Good view. But I don't want to see the trend. I want to see maybe circles, or I'll go to my show me option. I would, let's say, no, it doesn't look good. Okay, let me just change it to circles. And I want to see the regions basically. Right. So this view is giving me the information about sales year over years and by region. So I know that which region is performing well. You can see that central region, blue. I would not say that it's performing quite well. It looks consistent. There is a trend here, right? Similarly for east, I can see this. For south, it's also there. But for west, it's not very consistent. You can see there is an outlier which is floating at $17,000 sales in 2015, and there is quite variation in the numbers. Now maybe I can talk about a requirement that gives me the list of, or maybe give me those data points wherein my data is more than $2,000. So I know that this this axis talks about 2,000 figures. What I can do is I'll just select everything which is lying into 2,000, more than 2,000 area. I'll just select that. It is selected, and I can go ahead and create, maybe right click and create set. I can name it, let's say my set, and the set is created. All right. Now you might ask a question, this is the similar thing which we did on the group also. We selected few fields, we clubbed them into one, and we named it as my group or the subgroup category which was there. But Group was created in the dimension area, and set has been created into a different area below the measures. Can anybody tell me the difference between these two? Group name bar minimum line. Anybody? Any wild guesses? This is not.
Between what two? The my set is like a subset, right?
The group. Yeah, we created one group, and this is the set, my set, which I have created. In both cases, we selected some of the values, clubbed into one, and set is also created here, and the group was created here.
I don't know.
I guess group is on dimension, and set is more on measures.
Exactly, Dinesh. So group is on the dimension side. I mean, you can see that it is listed here. And set is basically the data points. It's this, I would say, whatever we read into set theory, right? It is nothing but a subset of my complete data. It has those data points. Now, if somebody asks that I want out of this complete data, I want to see only those areas wherein my data was more than 2000K, I can just drag maybe this my set onto colors, in and out. If I select in, it's gonna tell me all those areas wherein my data was more than 2K, and it's gonna tell me wherein in most of the data elements lie between below the 2K. I mean, I can see there are few numbers.
Can you drop that my set into colors and it'll create two different set of colors?
My set.
Oh, you are doing that. You are doing that. Never mind. Yeah, you are doing that already. Never mind.
Yeah. So I mean, as soon as you will drag that on the colors, it will automatically create that. Now. Oh. And if you want to change the colors, definitely you can do that from here. You can go to these color palettes and select any color which you want for in and out.
So Sati, what does in and out really signify? Like, what is it trying to say? Like,
okay.
Using my set with.
So this is exactly the same. I mean, the same thing which I talked about subgroup, the group which I created. This is happening same. If you see in the group, I had all the values. It is just the group values were combined into one, and I can see the other values also. In the same way, set also does the same thing. It shows you all the data elements. It is just the values which were combined into this set, they will come into in category, and other values will keep lying into out category.
Okay.
So it has divided the whole data set into two portions. One is what is meeting my condition, and one which is not meeting my condition. So this was, this set which I have created using, by selecting the values from here. The other way of creating set would be like I can go to, let's say, the profit, and I would say create, okay, not here. And I can put condition here, the same condition, like anything, okay, this is for top. I can go to this condition field and sales or anything which is lying greater than or equal to, I can say 2000. This is a new set which is being created. Now what I would do, I'll just remove my, the color which I added earlier here. It is showing me everything now. I'll drag this new set which I have just created using that condition. and I'll put it here. You can see the similar kind of view is again. My ins are here and outs are here. So sets and groups, basically groups help us when we trying to combine few categories into one. We utilize groups over there. And when we are more focused on the data elements, then we talk about sets. One of the best use we do with help of set is, let's say when I'm trying to compare my two measures. So what I have done, I've just selected my profit and sales and selected this scatter plot. Right now I can see only one line here, one dot here, nothing else. But as soon as I'm going to maybe drag my customer names on maybe colors, so now you would see that most of the customers, this is my zero profit axis and this is the zero sales axis right here. Let me show the toolbar. I can utilize this toolbar to zoom in. Okay. Not sure what it is doing. Okay. Here we go. Great. So now you can see what I have done. I have just clicked on this play button and use this first icon, and I can zoom in a little more. Using this thing, let me just remove it now. Okay. It was just for observation. But what I want to do, I just want to focus on some of the customers who are either going more than $8,000 sales, or wherein I'm getting a profit of a certain limit. I can go ahead and club those members or those customers into one set. That is what we do using where we utilize our sets basically. So they also help us doing analysis on the data elements. Groups help us doing analysis on the categorical data or maybe on the categories, not on the numbers level. So that's the only difference. There are different ways to create it, and we can further go ahead and put those set and colors into these details, levels, shapes, and work accordingly. Right now, what we did in this view, let me just hide this toolbar. Okay. So right now we are getting customer names, the color by customer names. What I would do, let me just remove the customer name from here. I'll just get the same icon, only one mark here. Maybe I want to see all the members by region. The data elements by region. So you can see that there were only 4 regions, and I'm getting 4 different marks here. This is for central, this is for east, south, and west. But I don't like these icons. I want to change it. You can anytime go to the shape, click on the shape card. You will get the list of available icons which you want to apply, or maybe you can apply into your regions, whichever you want. The good thing is, like in the shape thing, you can add your own images. I mean, let's say you have customized images, you can add that. Now the question is how you can add those images. For that, let's say if you want to add any particular image, what you need to do is you need to go to the same folder which we talked about yesterday. In My Documents, go to My Tableau repository, and then you will find Shapes folder here. You need to click on it, and you will find further more folders here. If you want, you can add your own folder, create a new folder, or put images inside any of these folders. They will appear over there. You can see this is the home. Actually, these are the images which I have added by my own because there was a requirement in one of the project. These are the gender icon. It was not there in the Tableau. I have added it from depending on the requirement. These are the different images which you can directly put in here and go ahead and use that. So maybe there was a requirement, let's say if I add region into row label and put my data here, let's say quantity. Now I don't want to show the central, east, south and west here. Maybe I want to show those images. What I need to do is I'll just go ahead and put the region into, okay, first of all I need to select shape. This icon will appear, and then I can maybe go ahead and put this into region on the shapes, and then I'll go to my shape thing, and I'll be changing the icons according to my requirement. Maybe images which I was talking about, or maybe I can go ahead and put these images. So central, let's say this image. For east, I'll select some other. South, I'll choose anything else, and maybe for west, I'll choose anything else. So as soon as I increase this window, I don't want to show the labels right now. Okay, these images are appearing here like this. You have an option to increase the size. Click on this size, and you can increase as it is required. And the best part of this is we utilize this functionality in the dashboards, wherein let's say we have 10 different individual reports, and I want to give user only one link, and through which user can navigate between multiple reports. So we just put images like this on home page and provide a link to those individual reports. So this is how we can utilize images, number one, and we can make navigation between different reports using Tableau smooth. All right. So any question related to maybe shapes, number one, and number two, set and group?
I have a question here. What if I want to use the shapes, just the shapes as a label for the regions?
So if I'm getting correctly, so okay.
Actually, that is what I thought it would do when you did when you were assigning the shape to the regions, like as their labels.
Are you talking about this area here?
Yeah.
And you just want to use shape?
Yeah, if I want to use shape instead of like saying, saying central or east or south or west.
Oh, okay. Are you talking about this thing here?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Let me just think, because this is the categorical data, and Okay, so what is happening here, if you see in this worksheet, right now I don't have anything except region. What I have done, I have taken region on my rows area, this, and regions are only there on the shapes. So that is why what it is doing, it is showing me a cross table in both the columns. One is the images for region, and here this is just the header. Now let's say if you don't want to show it, I mean these headers, you can just go ahead and remove it. Now if you put your mouse on any of these images, though I have assigned a particular image to a region, and that is why you can see that I am getting central, first image is for central region, another is for east, this is for east, this is for south, and this is for west.
Okay. So what did you do to remove the label?
Okay, I can. Okay, right now it is showing. I think because of tooltip, there is no labels used. If I'll use labels, okay, these were the already images, so it's not showing me label here. Do I have selected? Okay, the reason is it is not showing label because I have not put anything on the labels. I need to put, maybe if I put the region on labels, okay, now it is showing the labels, right?
Yeah.
So if I don't put anything here, it is simply showing me the regions at the place of images.
Yeah.
Sorry, images at the place of region names.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
All right. Okay. Now, the same thing, I mean, on this particular chart, let's say if I apply area, it depends on the requirement, but it gives the good view. Whichever is required, we can, make changes accordingly. Okay, I think I'll just show one more, view here, and then we'll, plan for, the break. And once we will, come back from the break, I need one volunteer who can, create some visualization for us. So that is what we'll be doing after break. But before break, let me just show one visualization which I really like, and I do show in all the sessions. When I take. So I call it action visualization or viz. And for that, basically, let me just take order date on the pages. So far we have not used anything on the pages card. So I'll just put order date here. And as soon as you put that anything on the pages card, you get this, another icon appears. So now what I'm going to do is, let me put date in the columns also. And I'm saying that you are really going to like this. And let me drag sales. I'll be converting my date into maybe month and year format. It just gave me one trend. Okay. I have 2012 selected. I want to change this maybe in the same format as I have put the format here in the columns area. I'll be changing it into month and year format like this. And this, then I'll go to this show history portion. I'll select it. Maybe I will select all. And as soon as I do that, I want maybe last 5 in the length. I'll talk more about that, what these things are doing. I want to show the history for all the time periods, whatever is there in the data. Length, I want to at the beginning I'll show the length for the complete data. For marks, right now it is disabled, but as soon as, okay, it will remain disabled until unless I'm not going to use mark. Right now there is no mark which I'm using. So for format of marks, okay, let's take, maybe I'll take any particular color, and the marks is disabled here. I mean, I cannot select trails or marks right now. So what I would do, I will go here in automatic and I'll change it to either just put circle here, or maybe you can select anything in shapes. So it's gonna show you one of the shape here. I'll go again. Now you can see if you select either circle or shapes, then these options will be enabled. Now I can see marks, trails, and both. So I'll select both. For marks, this is the formatting which I'm taking in consideration. For trails, let me take maybe some other line. I think let's say, okay, I've taken this orange color, the optimum color here. You can see this configuration. Will if confusion will come back to this. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just play with. Okay, let me just increase the size a little bit. Here we go. I'll click on this play button. Now you can see as we go forward with the month, how your data elements are changing. The chart shows you that progress.
That's pretty cool.
I agree. Right. Now, yes, you might have a question. It is showing for very small time periods, specific time period. So anytime you can go back and select this all. And I'll increase the speed a little bit. I'll say fast. So this is nothing but the speed it is talking about. I've selected the fast speed. And I'll go back to my first month in the data and I'll click again. Now you can see the progress a little faster. Let's say you want to show data elements with this. Just drag your sales because I'm plotting sales here. I'll just drag my sales onto label. So what this is going to do is it will keep telling me the number as we move forward. I know it is fast, we can decrease the speed. It's very slow now. But it's an amazing view which can be used in dashboards or maybe in the presentations with the leadership.
When you define five, Sati, was the 5 for the last 5 minutes or the last 5 months, or how is it looked?
Okay, so right now I'm showing all as a length.
Yeah. When you took it as last 5, that 5, is it like calculated in time or is it in?
Okay, so everything is calculated based on these numbers here.
Okay.
Right, so it is, right now I'm showing month and year, so for each year I'll get 12 elements. We can change this to unique months, maybe like this, but in that case, this is a kind of break you can see. Right, it doesn't look good. I would not recommend. We actually need a specific date format for it. So I can go by date. This will also work. I'll make the speed of my data so you can see. Now I have taken date. It's talking about, it's giving me the progress each day. So that is why you can see it quite cluttered.
heading also changes accordingly, right? Like.
Exactly. Okay, so maybe let's say if I want to show the data labels, okay, let me just change it back to month and year, like this. Both. And this is basically what it's talking about to fade. I can increase or decrease this bar, so it will show me the faded area or non-faded area. Like this. All right. So I think that's all right now on this. Can you create it? If I ask anybody or any of you to create it, can we do it right now?
Sure. What was the question again?
I mean, can anybody create this chart?
Try.
Just give it a try. Yeah. I'm sharing my screen. I need a volunteer. Carolyn, would you like to go for it?
Sure.
All right. So let me make you the presenter. Okay. And after this, we'll go for break once you'll create it.
Okay. So I put the audit date on the pages, but I need to change that to month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have to put it. This probably isn't going to be a good format, though, huh?
Yeah, it won't look good in tabular format. We need that trend chart.
Okay, so let me create another worksheet. We'll start over. Okay, so we put the audit date on the pages, and I'm going to put the score. On there. And what else should I put on there? Or do I put the score on the text? Where do I?
Anybody can anybody support Carolyn?
I'm lost. I don't know what to do.
And I think you want to do the
just calculate score per month or something, Carolyn? So I think we have taken audit date.
Okay, so I should take that back out and put in the accuracy score.
Actually, you want to do the year date on the column again, I think.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so put that on the column.
Yeah, and change it to month, I think.
And your year into the row. Your year audit into row.
Oh, into the row?
Has to go. Yeah.
This doesn't look right, though.
I think didn't you put the date on the column?
Right.
Wouldn't maybe a good measure be total defects instead of the?
We are close. What else?
Maybe on the history where you have on the right-hand side in my chapter. Yeah.
Show history. Change all.
Yeah.
All. And
how
then
do we get the marks and trails and everything enabled? We did something, right?
So right now they are disabled. We need to change the mark into either that circle or select that shape.
side?
Yeah, from here.
Like a circle?
Yeah, you can select circle or select the shape, whatever you want. I mean, both will work.
Okay.
So it's already converted into that. Now if you go to that history, it will be enabled.
Okay. So we want to do both, right? And we want to format one color for the, and then the trail is another color. How's that?
It's ready.
I don't know what it's doing.
Now, what is happening here, if you see the pages card has year format and the column we have month format.
Oh.
So we need the same kind of formatting both places.
Month and month?
Yeah, now there is month at both places. So it will just show, you know, the 12, I would say. Yeah, if you have multiple years data, I would recommend for this, month and year, both combination. Yes, it's the same.
Okay.
And
there we go.
Also.
Okay. So now we have, okay, that's better, right?
Right.
So now we can play it?
Exactly.
Okay. Now this goes all the way from 0 to 100%. Is there a way that I can, because hopefully we'll never have anything below like 80%. Is there a way I can change that so that it's not just a straight line across the page?
So just right click on that axis.
Okay.
Yep. And go to edit axis. Edit axis. So this is the place where we can change the scale for a chart. Now we can define what axis we want. So if it is percentage, and as you mentioned that it will never go below 80, okay, that's fine. 0.7 will work.
80, okay. And then apply? Yeah, let's make it a little bit like 85. It's still kind of...
We can take 90.
90.
Right. And
it still changes the... This should be just 1, right?
No.
That's that. There we go. That looks a little better. And then start from the beginning again. And play. Let's speed it up. There we go. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. All right.
And you can change the size of that mark by selecting the size, and you can increase it.
Okay.
That's fine. I think you have done. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Most welcome. All right. So I think we will go for a 20-minute break, and it's 10:14 here in India right now. So we'll be back by around 10:35. I mean, after 20 minutes. All right.
Okay, thank you.
See you everyone after 20 minutes. Thank you. Using hierarchy.
Recording started.
So what I'm going to do now, I'll be creating a hierarchy using these related fields. So first of all, let me just remove everything from here. In order to create hierarchy, what I would do, I will just select all these fields. It's a category, then subcategory, and I'll select product name, right click. So how I have selected them, I have, I just need to, right click on them using control. Then only you'll be able to select multiple fields in one go. So once you have selected the required fields, you need to right click and hierarchy, create hierarchy. If you want to name it, or just leave it as it is. So once it is done, you will find another, a kind of tree map here with the drop down, and it's a hierarchy basically, which has, 3 fields: category, customer name, and subcategory combined in one. If you want to, right now it is collapsed. If you want to expand it, you can do that. But if you look at it, subcategory is at 3rd level, customer name is at 2nd. Okay, I have included customer name. I was supposed to take product name in here, not the customer name, because it's a product hierarchy. Okay, so first of all, let me, change the order. Category will come at top. Then subcategory, I can just drag it and put it below the category. And I need to remove customer name from here because I need product name. Obviously, in product hierarchy, customer name doesn't make any sense. So I would right click on it, and I would say remove from hierarchy. I'll right click, customer name has gone from category or subcategory, from this hierarchy. But though it was in the name of this hierarchy, here we go. Though it was in the name, so that is why it shows customer name in here, but that is just a name. Anytime you can go ahead and make the changes into the name of a hierarchy which I have created. So I would say product underscore hierarchy, and I have removed one field. I need to add that product name thing here. So I'll just go ahead and right click on product name, and I will get this option called hierarchy. So it is showing me different options. Maybe I can create a new hierarchy in which I want to show product name, or if I have an option, I can add product name to the existing hierarchy, which is product hierarchy. So I'll just select this one. Had it been multiple hierarchies in here, my data, I would have got multiple names. So right now there is one hierarchy created. I'll just select this one. Now you would see in the product hierarchy, category, subcategory, and the product name is there in that list. Now simple, I just need to drag it to my row level, and you can see by default I'm getting category. It has a plus sign though. So in category you are getting 3 values. As soon as you will click either on this plus sign or on this plus sign, it will expand a little. You will get subcategories here, and if you expand a little more, you are going to get product names for each subcategory. So this is how the hierarchy looks like here. But now the thing comes that how we are getting value out of it. So let's say if I drag sales number. So as I have put sales on my ABC pane, what I was getting earlier, it has given me the sum against each product category. I know that what is a sales in furniture, office supplies, or technology. Same thing can be expanded for subcategories. Here we go. The same number has been bifurcated in each subcategory, and if you click on this plus sign, you're gonna get the sales value against each product. With the same thing, with an added advantage here, I can say I'll go to my analysis tab and I can add totals. Okay. I can add subtotals also. So I'll just go ahead and click. Okay. It is showing me the grand total, but I want to see the subtotals. So add all subtotals. Now you can see that I'm getting a total line for each of my subcategories. And maybe if I expand, so I will still get totals for each subcategory. So that is how you can, use hierarchies in a tabular form. Anytime if you want to see maybe the bars, you can just convert it. You will get it by subcategory or maybe by product. You can change the view, it's horizontal. You can change it into vertical format by just clicking on this flip sign, swap sign. So it's by furniture, office supplies, technology. You can change it. Let me add labels also. Here we go. Now let me add maybe regions. The way we did it earlier. So I'll add like this. Now let me show one more thing here. I have just added region here on the color card. I'm showing sales values here, but I want to see the size by profit. For that, I can drag profit on the size card, and now you would say, it is a little confusing. Let me remove region from here, and then I'll add it again. So right now there is no region in this picture. You are getting different size or width of bar by profit, and you are getting the height of bars by sales. So now you know that copiers have the maximum profit, but sales lies between or around 20K. Whereas if you maybe go by tables, right, or this binders, I'm not able to compare it. Profit is -1802 and this is -10. Okay, so tables have, I would say, okay, binders have the minimum profit, whereas table lies at the second number. It has the second minimum profit, but the sales lies between 15 to 20K. So you can do that kind of analysis in one go using your measures on these different cards. Now if I add regions the way it was earlier in this picture, so it shows the further bifurcation. Just a minute ago I said tables have the minimum profit, but now if you would say that in the binders category I have central region where we have the minimum profit. Right. So this is these type of drill down and maybe I would say the functionality we can use by putting different things on these marks. And the same thing here I have what we call it hierarchy. So let me remove these marks, labels. Now you can see on the category level, technology has the maximum profit, and I would say sales also because it has the longest bars. Office supplies have, in central region it has the minimum profit, though I would say in west region it has done good in terms of profit. So is it making sense? Or are we getting confused because we are trying to put a lot of information into one chart? Any doubts? Any questions?
You will be sending us the recording, right, Sati?
Yes, I will be, and I'll be sharing this workbook also. Yeah. we can expand this. So that goes like this. And here we can see the same thing for product level also, but again, yes, it's a very, I would say, granular level, and that is the reason you can see very small bars. So that's not a recommended view. I'll keep it to subcategories only. Let me show one more, the similar view. I'll drag maybe, let me drag categories, and I will use that's a profit and convert into bars. I know that this is my profit here, and I'm looking at by categories. Sometimes, or Tableau gives you one more functionality here, that for each bar or for these categories, you can define. You must have worked with the control charts in Excel. So in control charts, basically we define a limit, or maybe we can define an upper bound and lower bound. So that kind of thing we can do in this situation also. In this chart, we can define or add reference line. If you right click on Access, you will find Add Reference Line, and then Tableau gives you several options here. So right now by default it is selected per pane. You can select entire table. So you can see that as soon as I have selected entire table, there is a line which appeared here, and it's giving me the average right now because it is selected as an average. You can change it to maybe minimum, maximum, average, median, sum, or total. So it is sum, so definitely it will be sum of all three bars. That's why it is here. I can change it to minimum again, but let's say, it is showing me just the line here. I'm talking about a band, maybe I would say the lower bound and upper bound. So for that, these bands can be used, but let me just select this per cell option before I go to band. So if I select per cell, it's gonna show me the line for each bar. You are getting this average here because the label it shows computation. I can show none, or if you want, we can show value, so it will show that value. So these are the different options which you can play with. It is line, or maybe you want to show something else, line and confidential interval. So this is little statistical concepts here which you can use in order to show that data. I'll go for band. So now band, right now I have just selected the sum of profit minimum, sum of profit maximum. Let me, okay, and I'll go for maybe per cell. So minimum, maximum, sum of profit per pane. Okay, here we go. This is the best view, wherein we can show that what is that my band will start from 60% of the total value to the 80% of the value. I'll just remove this computation here, and I'll format my band with any particular color. I don't like this color, so maybe I can go for so that you can just show that band for each of your cells. anytime you want to edit it, just right click on these bands. It will show you the option to edit, or if not, you can just go to your axis option and click edit reference line. You can, change that anytime if you want. Again, the same property for the box plot. You can directly create box plot from here also if you want. Okay, right now it is just creating a one. You can apply multiple values, maybe columns. Okay, not that because it's the same value. Maybe you can use regions here. You will get box plot for each region. So I'll go back to here. So these are the bars basically, the bands basically, or the rows, line level details you can put into for each bar, or the reference lines you can add. Any question here? Why do we use it? Or how we, if any doubt, we can create it again. You have put few more options you can choose depending on your requirement. All right, if there is no question, I'll move a little for the next chart. So let's say reference line. All right. So we saw how to create hierarchies, we use them, and we saw bars, fine. Okay, let me just show a donut chart. So sometimes if the requirement comes that we want to see the donut chart, I don't want to see the complete pie chart, but donut chart will work for me. So what we can do in that situation, maybe I'll select my region and okay, let's just put a hold here. Before going to this customized chart, let me just show the calculated fields, because we'll be utilizing calculated fields in some of our next topics. So let me just cover that first. So I saw that Caroline already created calculated field, and she was showing that in the morning in her problem. So anytime you can go to any of the fields, right click on it, you will find this menu, create calculated field, group, set, and parameter. You can go to this little drop down arrow, you can create a calculated field from here, or maybe you can go to analysis tab and create calculated field from here. So any of those will work. You can resize this window, name your calculated fields. So let's say we have been using a lot profit and sales. Let me just create profit ratio. And what I would do, Tableau has given you all type of most of the functions here. So maybe if you select numbers, you will get all the functions related to calculations on numbers. If you select string, you get functions related to string. Maybe the problem which Carolyn referred, that she was trying to combine last name and first name. So you can utilize maybe string functions and maybe concatenate or combine two text fields using string functions. Then you have date functions herein. Let's say if you have date, you find out month, year, maybe week, date, or you can find out whether a field is a date or not, because sometimes we get date in form of string. So we can utilize these functions and find it out. You have type conversion. Let's say you need to change the data type. And the best part is that Tableau does give you, the example. Whatever function you select here, it gives you an example that how it works. Then you have logical operations, if else conditions you can apply, is null, is date, and or minimum, maximum. So these things you can utilize, aggregate functions, user defined functions. So okay, I'll find out. So let's say, I'll tell you more about these functions. These are nothing but the environment variables here. So if I select username, I'm going to get my user ID or MSID on the wherever I use it. These are the table calculations. So table calculation is a complete, I would say, option which we will be working on. Anytime you don't need it, you can hide this area. So now let me just go ahead and create a profit ratio field. So profit ratio, according to my understanding, it should be sum of profit divided by sum of sales. So I'll just write this formula, and Tableau keeps checking whatever you write here. By the time my formula is working fine, it will say the calculation is valid. If let's say anything is wrong here, it's gonna give me a warning sign, and it will say the calculation contains errors. And it will try to give you hints that what type of error it is. So I have just used double operator or brackets here. It says syntax error, maybe you are missing an operator. So missing an operator, it could be that if I can use it here, my formula will be correct. Or if I remove these two, again my formula will be correct. So Tableau gives you a suggestion, and based on that you can apply or deny. It's up to you. I'll say apply and OK. This is a field which got created. Now what I'm going to do is I'll drag my product hierarchy and I'll put profit ratio in here. So it shows me profit ratio. Let me expand it a little. Okay. Now if I say total, and it's basically profit ratio should be in percentage, I guess. So I can change this anytime into percentage. Or if it is not percentage, you can change or you can format it accordingly. So you can just find out these values accordingly. More use of calculated fields would be like you can create, by using the function which we saw. Let's say if I want to create rank, what I'm going to do is I'll be saying rank based off rank or different type of rank size are the defined function in Tableau. I can use rank, and maybe on what basis I want rank, I can just define maybe sales. I need to tab here, and then I can decide whether it is ascending or descending order I want it to be shown. So it gives me an error. It shows all the fields must aggregate. Okay, so it will be nothing but the sum of failed. The calculation is valid. I'll put it like this here. And maybe I can utilize this rank field anywhere in my workbook. So let me, okay. Let's just see here what I'm going to do now. I'll just remove this profit ratio. I'll drag only profit in here, And this is the same problem which I was describing yesterday, that I want to sort my data, or maybe I want only top 5 subcategories, right? So if I want top 5 subcategories, I will have to create rank based on subcategories, then only I can apply that thing here. Otherwise, like the order which we see, it is not every time correct. So I'm just going to do the same thing again. I'll edit my calculated field rank, and let's say if you want to see the example, you can find out, okay, all and then rank. You can see it has given you the example. This is the same what we have written. Now let's see if I use this rank. Okay, for using rank and aggregation, it is a numerical field here, but if I say somebody that top 1, top 2, so it's a kind of discrete number which it should be, because rank will not be, we cannot add ranks, right? Rank 1, rank 2 cannot be added. These are the identification for a particular position, that it's the first position or the second position. So I will have to change this from continuous to discrete. Number 1, I can right click on it and I'll click convert to discrete. Now you can see the color of this particular field got changed. Earlier it was green, now it is blue. So my rank has been converted into discrete. So as soon as I will drag it between category and subcategory, you can see that these are the ranks being created, but they are not in order, right? So you can see 1 is here and 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, till 6 I can see the order, but again things are not in better place. So in order to find top 5, what is recommended is you just need to click on this rank and go to edit table calculation. I'll take this again, the table calculation again, I'll talk more about it. Now in here you need to go to this specific dimension, and what we want, category and subcategory, but I want it only for subcategory. So maybe I don't want to select my categories and I want to rank it based on subcategory only. If that is the scenario, now you would find that for each category, whatever subcategories we had in the data, the rank has been recalculated accordingly. So under furniture, I can see there are each subcategory being ranked from 1 to 4. Then under office supplies, I have all these subcategories being ranked from 1 to 9. They are in order. Under technology, these 4 entries have been ranked in a proper manner. As soon as you will select this category, this rank will combine both the fields and then it will work. Let's say I want to apply it at the deepest level at category. Again the things will change. Now you will see that if I take category as the deepest level, so my rank for bookcases, for paper, they are at top 1. For maybe, for furnitures, it is furnishing as second and the storage is again going to be the second. So what it is doing is it is recalculating depending on the options what we select here. Maybe restarting, I can say restart every category, so it will do the same thing here. Now it's up to us that how do we want. We can find out top 2 for each category. For that, I will have to apply this rank on filters. I can just select this top 2 values. I would say apply. Okay, not like that. Okay, let me use all first of all. I'll get all the data. What I want is, I want for for categories, okay, subcategories is here for deepest level and restarting every, okay. Okay. Now, what I'm looking for, that for each category, I want top 2 subcategories only. If that is the requirement, let's try to complete that. That is what my requirement is. Now, what I would do, I will just go and maybe, this is exactly what I did earlier, but it didn't work. But the same thing is again, okay. Okay, here we go. So now, just one thing to tell again, I think whenever we drag a field here, this rank, and you are getting this delta sign or the triangular sign is nothing that it represents the table calculation. So while using this edit calculation, we did a lot of modification, but if I don't drag the same field into the filters, at the place of using this rank, if I drag the rank directly from this portion to filters, both are going to work differently because both are the table calculations. Again, you can see the triangular sign, but the kind of modification we did here are different than the calculation which is driving here. So for that, I need to drag the same rank fill into the filters card. Now, I'm trying to do that. Okay, for that, let's say if you want the same fill to be here also and on the filters also, just click Control and drag the same fields on filters. And now I don't want to see everything, I just want to see only top 2 values. I did it, and now you would see that for each category I'm getting only 2 records. The first rank and the second rank. So this is how you can basically define table calculations. I mean, I'll talk more about table calculations, but I can show top 2 for each category, and further to that, I don't need to show this rank column here. I can go anytime and click on show header. So that is what I can apply for top 2, top 5, top 10 type of things. So, okay, before I leave it for questions, let me just talk more about the table calculations. I'll drag one more sheet, and maybe I can drag, let's say, states. Where do we have states? Yep, here we go. I have states in rows column, and I'll drag sales. So right now, this is the same measure field, but you can't see that triangular sign or that delta sign here, because right now it is not a table calculation. In order to show more on the table calculation, what I'll do, I'll just drag one of the date column here also, or maybe I can drag region, whichever looks better. No. Okay, so I have state and dates here in year format. Now I'm going to convert my measure, which is right now sales as sum. I will be converting this into table calculation. So I'll just right click on it, and I would say add table calculation. And I got the same pop-up again, which I was getting in case of rank. So now you would see that by default it is selected difference from, and it says table across. So these are the different modes of calculation. What it does, nothing is happening on the data source level. Everything is happening on this view level only, in this particular cross table. So what we need to understand is we have few keywords like across and down. So let me just tell you what across, down, cell, or there is one more keyword which will come in picture, that is pane. So what if I talk about a particular value, that is a cell. If I talk about in a row, maybe left to right, that is my row. And if I talk about top to bottom in a one column, that is going to be down. So these are the modes basically. So I'll go ahead and edit again. And what I'm going to do now, I'll not take difference from, maybe I can take running total. And now you can see if across is selected, I'm getting 181 all across. The reason could be maybe Alabama, we don't have any other value except 2012. So anytime if I control Z and I want to see the values, so yes, you can see I have a value in 2013 only. Even in 2012, I don't have anything. So this running total, and it's stable across right now. If you want to do it down, you can change it down then across. So these are different modes, whichever is required you can do that. And for specific dimensions if you want, that option is also available with you. So depending on the requirement, how you want, so I think it is available and we can make the changes directly without going into the format percentage or that formatting thing. We can change the percentage values into percentage from here. So these percentile, all these options are available in the table calculation, and one can play whichever is required. So let me okay. Now let me drag one more thing so that I can talk about the panes also. I have category, and I'll drag sales. Okay. Now, a particular area which is a kind of box, that is what we call pane in this mode when we talk about these table calculations. So now you can see that earlier we were not getting these pane values. As soon as we have added these boxes here, with the help of category and subcategory, because of hierarchy, we are getting this pane information also. So maybe if I say, let's say, running total, or maybe I want to see only in the pane, that can be done. This is cell or the table across. Want to see average, that is there. You can make the changes on just selecting a different option. So I would not say that it is very complex. It is just what you need and what is the requirement. So you can just go ahead and choose that particular option. So I would say that is there any question related to maybe calculated fields or these table calculation or the rank which we created? Any question on these three things?
Fadi, I have a question. On my rank pill, it came up as green instead of blue on yours, so I obviously did something wrong. Do you know what that was?
Could you please repeat regarding this?
Yeah, when you were doing the rank, when I added a rank, it came up as a green pill and not a blue pill as it was showing on yours. I'm just wondering, calculation or the way that I wrote it was incorrect.
So by default, when you create a rank, it gets into, you get it in green color only, because it is a numerical field, and it is just it's a calculation. So Tableau treats it as a continuous value, but the use, because rank is not I would say it's not a continuous field. It is basically a position, or I would say it is identification of a position. So we need to convert it manually into discrete field. So as soon as I converted that into discrete, the color turned into blue.
I understand. Okay, excellent. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions related to calculated field, rank? Or maybe on hierarchy? Because why I am repeating these things, because as soon as we go to parameters, we will have to work with hierarchies, calculated field, and maybe sorting. We'll go back to these three things again. Okay, so if there is no question, let me move to parameters. So,
sorry, I have a question. I was trying to unmute.
Yep. Yeah, please go ahead.
On the category hierarchy that we created. Can you show me if we still have category in the dimension? Like if you scroll up?
No, it will not be there.
Oh, okay. But
I mean, there are scenarios when you still need, because whenever I drag a category here, it comes as an hierarchy only, right? And it might, destroy or ruin my visualization, because sometimes I really don't want to show hierarchy everywhere, right? So, I mean, the case which we were talking about, yeah, maybe this one only. Right now, I have had till categories and subcategories, it is fine. But if I move to the next level, it doesn't. I mean, though it is making sense, but I don't think that users would like to see this.
So how do you keep the category in dimension while when you create a hierarchy using that?
Right.
How can you keep?
Yeah, in such scenarios, let's say if you still need that field, so what we would do, we'll just create a calculated field, and I'll name it maybe, because I cannot keep the same name, I might say maybe copy or a new underscore category, or you can make a different spelling of this category. It should not be the same, otherwise it will give errors. So I'll say maybe underscore 1. So now here I would use the same category. I'd say apply like this. And now you would find that category field is the calculated field which I have created. I can anytime go to any new sheet and I can drag it. It will come without that plus sign.
Okay.
So we can, rename or create a copy of multiple fields.
Okay, because I was wondering when I created the hierarchy that all the three dimensions disappeared, and then I was wondering how can I keep them without. So now I see how I can go around that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So we are good so far. Yep. The parameters which I was talking about. So yesterday I mentioned that parameters and filters, these are the two things which we use in Tableau, and both are used for limiting our data. Limiting, when I say limiting, it means it could be like filtering out some portion of the data, maybe creating subset. So there is the same, I would say that there is the same purpose, but they are implemented in different ways. So you can create the parameter by just selecting any field and go create parameter, or create parameter from here, or I believe it is in the, okay, it's not there. Okay, no problem. So we can just create parameters using this option, and by default, as soon as you create, just click on create parameter, it gives a name, parameter 1. You can change it to anything, whatever you want. My param. The next thing you need to define that what type of parameter it is. What is the data type of this parameter you want to define? Is it a float, integer, string, boolean, date, or maybe date and time? Depending on your selection, let's say I'm selecting right now string, then these are the optional values which you can define, or you can choose not to define. If you have date, you can choose the other formats what you want to show your parameter like. But let's say, okay, let me just create one as a string. I'll keep it null. There is no value I'm going to define here. If it is all, right now there is nothing to be shown in this parameter. But I can select list. As soon as I'll do that, I have got this area wherein either I can define my own values, maybe I would say, let's say category, let's say region, or maybe subcategory. You can choose what to display. Do you want to display the same, or do you want to change it? It's up to you. What you want to show to the end users. That's a one way of defining values into parameters. Or other could be, I'm just deleting everything from here. You can import values from existing fields. For example, if I click on add from fields, it will show you all the data sources your workbook is connected to, and then it will show all the fields which are having the same data type as your parameters. So right now it is showing all the string fields, but if I change it to maybe date, you will see you are getting only two dates over there. Number one is order date, another is ship date. So Tableau is smart enough. Depending on the data type of your parameter, it will suggest you only those fields, those type of fields. So I'll go back to string again, and I'll maybe add segment. I have consumer, corporate, and home office. I'll say OK, and you can see that there is another space got created here called parameter, and I can click on show parameter control. As soon as I do that, I'll see that parameter got added here in my workbook. I can choose different formatting styles, but this parameter is of no use until unless I'm not creating a calculated field. The parameter never works standalone. Parameter always works with the help of a calculated field. So that is, I would say, the mandatory thing or the required thing. In filters, we didn't have any restriction. So now what I can do is, let's say if I want to see the data only for consumer, I will have to create a calculated field which can help me to filter out or maybe identify only those records which are related to consumer segment. So let's do that. I'm going to create a calculated field, and I would say here maybe segment filter. And now I need to define my logical conditions. I would go with if else. So what I'm trying to say is, if my parameter, which is my param, has a value called then maybe show 1 else 0 or not else, I need to use else if, and then I'll define again if my parameters has a value of corporate. You need to make it sure that your spelling is same as what you have here, or maybe what you, okay, you need to make it sure that your spellings, what you are writing in your condition or in calculated field, they are same as these values, not with what we are choosing as display as. I told you that we can change it, right? So we can define 1, 2, 3 here also, but display as consumer, corporate, and home office. I'll be doing that, but right now, for just for information, that we need to make it sure that the spellings of these values and what we are defining here in the calculated field are correct or are same. So before I go ahead, I also need to make it sure that's fine. Then 1 else. I can choose else now. No, not right now. Else if my parameter is home. I believe there is a space in between. Office. Then 1, and now I will choose else 0 and end. My condition is right and it shows that the calculation is valid. I can go ahead and apply OK. So now the logic says, whenever I'll be selecting a value here, because I can select only one value in parameters right now. So if I'll select consumer, that calculated field will have 1 in only one case, wherein each record has consumer. Against corporate records or the home office records, it will be 0, according to the calculation which I have created into where that field has gone. Segment filters. What I'm going to do is, the same thing here is again, it's a numerical field. Right now, it's a numerical field, and that is why it is in green, but I need not to use the numerical values of it. I need it as discrete, because 1 and 0, those are a kind of flag which I have put in here. So if you are using 1 and 0, you will have to convert this into discrete, or maybe you can choose it to show maybe true or false. That is what you can choose. So it's up to you that how you want it to be shown. I'll just convert this into discrete, number 1, and then I'll bring it to the filters area. I want to show all values. Obviously, it will have only 2 values in any case, either 1 or 0. I need to show only 1. I'll never take 0. And as soon as I do that, okay, another question can come, what data I'm getting here? Okay, let me bring customer segment for validation. Where is customer segment? Okay, here we go. I'll just drag it onto my ears. Now you can see I am getting consumer, corporate, and home office, all the things, which directly means this parameter is not working right now. I have one here, okay. If my parameter is equal to consumer,
isn't that saying basically the value is going to be 1 no matter what you pick? If you pick consumer, corporate, or home office?
Yeah, I mean, it should do that, but at a time I'm selecting only one value. So if I've selected consumer, it should be 1 in case of consumer only, not for others. So it directly shows that it is not working right now. Let me go ahead and make minor changes in my parameter. What I would do, I choose, okay.
Wouldn't you want to make corporate 2 and home office 3, so when you pick one, you're only picking consumer? Or?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to do that because using numerical values are quite easy here.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether they have a space or what. So sometimes this causes the problem. So no, but the problem will occur as soon as I'll make it 1 or maybe 2. For home office it is 3. Okay, I need to change it again. Maybe consumer.
And what happens? And what happens if you you update your data and there's more than just consumer, corporate, and home office? What happens if there's a 4th value when you refresh your data? Is that automatically going to show up here, or do you have to recreate your parameter?
That is the problem with the parameters in Tableau, because whatever value, whether I'm getting those values from field, they don't get updated if there is a change in data.
Okay.
So parameters doesn't refresh from the data source. So that is the limitation, I would say. And I refer to that knowledge base wherein people are raising questions to Tableau organization, or they are putting their ideas. So this is one of the ideas which most of the people have already placed.
So wouldn't it be better to use a filter, a regular filter on the report instead of creating a parameter? Like, why wouldn't you use just the segments as a filter instead of creating a parameter and using that as the filter?
Yeah, I 100% agree. In this situation, using a segment as a filter was the best choice. But I was just trying to show the parameter. That is why I have used segment. That is just for the training purpose. But in this scenario, using segment as a filter is the best option. So something happened this time, but I'm not getting any data. That is because I defined some condition in my calculated field. So now in my parameter, I don't have consumer over there anymore. I have 1 for consumer, and that is in string format. For corporate, I have 2 over there and again in string format. For home office, I have 3 as in string format. Okay. One more thing to show, to tell. Tableau, anything you define here, whether it is in single quotes or double quotes, Tableau treats that as a string. So no matter whether you are using double quote or single quote, if you don't use quotes and you need to define it as a string, you have a choice of type conversion, and str is the option which you can use to convert anything in string, any numerical value in string. So it will behave same as single quotes or double quotes. So I'll move ahead and let's see what happens in this situation now. No success so far. Let me just look at my condition. If my param is equal to 1, then 1. And this is 2, then 1.
So everything turns out to be 1 no matter what. So you only really got a condition that express everything as 1. If there is no, then it's 0. So I thought if you change then 1, then 2, then 3, that make that work up there.
So if I do that, let's say I make it 2, 3. So what will happen if I have home office? It's not showing because I'll have to, go ahead and change that value.
Okay.
So it will work in only case if I have, consumer here. Okay. And that's the case when I'm getting 1.
Do you have to bring that filter back up because that filter was written before you change it? So don't you have to bring it back up there now?
I can try that. Let me see all values.
Okay. Well,
okay. Let me just do something else. What I'll do, I'll just I have 1, 2, 3 here. What I would do, I'll just give different numbers here, maybe not numbers, text. And this situation I'll give it false. I believe, it's working fine. Remove. Okay, no worries. Let me. Filter is removed. That's fine. Okay. I'll drag it again. So what happened that my
remember when the other place
numerical field?
Remember when you converted the corporate to 1, corporate to 2 over there in that other area, where you added there, you still got values 1, 2, 3. Those are integers, aren't they, right there at that point, because they don't have quotes around them? That's why everything came out 4. If you went and changed those back to make sure the value was strings instead of integers there, then wouldn't it work? Because what your if condition showed is it failed in every case.
I think that that is not the case. Basically, it all depends on this data type.
Oh, okay. So you got type string value. Okay.
So it's working fine, but I just need to see here that what it is doing. Okay. Let me just drag it to one sheet. I'll drag it to my filters. True. And what I want to see is I want to see all of my maybe records. So maybe the customer name, and I want to see the segment against. Here we go, and I want to see the same flag which I have created. Okay, let me just clear all. I'm just creating this from scratch. It's a string, and I'm going to just define my 1, 2, and 3 values. And in my calculation, what I'm saying, if it is, okay, let me change this maybe in integers. Everything is integer now. In the condition, I would say if my parameter is equal to 1, then true. If it is 2, then also I'm saying true. And if it is 3, okay, I got it. So what is happening here? This is what, in each case I'm getting true only. The problem is here, I need to compare this with the segment field. Then only, it will be able to compare whether I'm getting the same value in the record or not. What I mean is, at the place of this 1, 2, 3, what I need to take is my segment field. What would happen if my parameter and segment values are matching? It will be true. If it is not, then it will be false. So that is what the condition I need to write. Basically, the condition was wrong, which I was using. Let me go back and change it to this as it was earlier. String and orders. I'll get the values from segment. I'll remove the other values. We're good so far. I have consumer, corporate, and home office here. And now I'll go to this condition, the calculated field. And here I would say that if my parameter has the same value as the segment field, then it should be true, else it will be false. This is the only condition which I need to use. I mean, is it making sense now?
Yeah.
I can go ahead and apply. And I'll apply the filters. I've got two values because I know except consumer, for other two values I would be getting right now false. I need only two records. And so you can see the consumer here. Whatever sales value, if you want to see, you can find it out. So right now it's consumer, it's corporate now, and it's home office. Sorry about that. I mean, I confused everybody using that calculated field. So this is the only condition you will be writing here. Your parameter has, if parameter has the same value as your segment field, it will be true, otherwise it will be false. So are we good so far? Anybody any questions? Okay. Now, let me go ahead, the category field which we created, not this one, I'll take subcategory. Let me create a copy of it. I'll say duplicate. This is a subcategory field which we got created. I have sales number here. I'll convert this maybe in some order. And now, let's say my user wants that they want to order or maybe sort this data at a time, maybe by profit, maybe by quantity, or maybe by discount. So they want three choices, and whatever choice they select, they want to sort this data based on their selection. So in order to do this, I will have to create a parameter, I would say maybe sort orders. I'll define it as string. I'll go to list, and here I will have to define my own values. So I can say maybe in first case I can say maybe by profit. In second case I can say by sales. In third case I can say maybe by quantity. And these are the things through which I want my data to be sorted. I'll follow the same approach. I'll change it to 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. Sorry, the names are also got changed. I just want it to display as profit. I want to display it as sales. I want to display it as quantity. Parameters created. I can show it too in my parameter control. Now I need to create calculated field because I said that parameter doesn't work without calculated field. So I can go ahead and create a calculated field. And what I would say again, I would say sort field. And here I need to define the similar condition that if my sort order parameter is equal to 1, then it should be profit. You can see this order 1, 2, 3. Else if sort order is equal to maybe 2, then it should be my sales field. And if it is equal to 3, then I want quantity. And then I will end my condition. Here we go. Now it gives me an error. It says can't compare string and integer values. So I need to check whether okay. You can see here my parameter was a kind of string parameter, string data type. So either I will have to convert my parameter into string, or the same conversion I can apply here. The calculation is valid. I would say apply. Okay. Now what is happening? The calculated field which we have just created, that sort orders, sorry, that's here in the measures. This field will have different values based on this selection. If I select profit, it will have profit values. If I select sales, it will have sales values. If I select quantity, it will have quantity values. So now what I'm going to do is, I'll go to this sort option which we talked earlier, and here I'm going to use field. I mean, it depends what you want to see, ascending or descending. But in fields, I'm going to choose my sort order field which I have just created. So you'll find that here. I think, okay, whatever spelling it is. So you can just select that field which I have created, and it shows the aggregation based on sum. You can change it to whatever you want and click OK. So if profit is selected, you can see that order is changed. Sorry, what was the order? It's descending order. So it is based on the descending profit. If I select sales, though I'm plotting sales only here, so it's the correct order which has converted. If I select quantity, again it's gonna change or distort my order. So though they are in the quantity order quantity, but in the backend that sorting thing is working. So now the user can, choose any field, whichever they want it to be sorted by. Are we good here? Yeah. Any questions so far? Any questions on calculated field, parameters, or whatever we covered today? Because I'm on top of the hours, and I think we'll be, wrapping up today's session if there is no question. And tomorrow we will be, focusing on some of the custom charts. The way I, mentioned donut chart, I was not able to cover today. We'll be covering that tomorrow. Then we'll be, going towards dashboards. We have some options in dashboards, action, and how can we make few relation between two different sheets. How we'll be creating storyboards and how we are going to publish these dashboards on the server, different permissions we apply on the server side, how we share a public workbook or maybe a private workbook with different users. So that is what we'll be covering tomorrow. So if there is no question, one assignment which I would like to give, you remember I was talking about to give a start date and end date kind of filter so that user can select start date and end date, and based on that they will see the data in the table or the chart, whatever they want to see. So that can be done using parameters only. And it is, I would say I would like to see it tomorrow in the beginning of the session. Please try that, and I'm pretty sure that you will learn a lot using parameter, calculated field, and then filter. All things come into that activity. So try to, if you want to see that what I'm talking about, let me just show one of the reports. And this is what you need to develop as an assignment. Maybe I can go to, okay. Okay, so this is basically what I'm talking about. You have, start date and end date. In between that, you get a calendar, you select, and you get the data based on the selected time period. So this is what we need to develop here using parameters. Now just give it a thought and try to create a one so that we can discuss it in the beginning of session tomorrow. All right, everyone?
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right then, thank you so much, and we'll try to cover everything in tomorrow's session.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. जो लास्ट के 3